Can you hear me? Do we have sound? Are we lagging? How's the image quality? Thumbs up? Thumbs down? Anything? Feedback? Yay! We are not making dumplings tonight. We are going to cook some mushrooms because I bought some mushrooms over Monday, I think. And I'm a little bit scared that the mushies are gonna go bad because last week I actually threw out some fried tofu puffs because they got moldy inside the package even though I fridged them. So I'm not sure what happened, and I was very ashamed that I had to throw out food. So I'm hoping to not do that again. That was the same fried tofu puff that Samira and I got when we were making the bakute. So I think I just held on to it a little bit too long and it wasn't as non-perishable as I thought it was. So today we're going to cook some oyster mushrooms that I bought for $1.20 a pound, which was a really good deal. But now we have to do something with it. So that's what we're going to cook. We're going to try to not make the mushies spoil. I think I'm going to make something in a very big pot and maybe something in a less big pot. And I haven't decided at all yet what we're gonna make, but we're gonna make it. And we're gonna have some dinner because I need to take my meds. And I'm going to start with our beloved pink pills. Consider it our amuse-bouche. Okay, let's go. I also got celery for $1. So we're going to go ahead and clean that off so I can actually start eating it instead of finding excuses for myself to not eat it. For some reason, the cheap celery always comes with a lot of grit. Like a lot of grit. Yuck, gross, great. Ugh. You snooze, you lose. Maybe someone kind in chat will catch you up. But no, I haven't announced anything I'm really making yet. We're just going to make something with mushrooms. Nothing is set. I'm not attached. I just want to minimize my food waste. So that's what we're doing. Forgive me if I don't answer your questions. It probably means one of two things. One, I don't want to answer it, or two, I have already answered it in a previous live already. And I have gotten to that stage in my life where I really don't want to answer the same questions over and over again. And I know some people have left comments about how I'm alienating my viewers by being so mean, but so be it. I think we need more rude streamer representation, you know. I feel like we don't have enough rudeness in our content creator world. I think we need to, you know, acclimate people to not people please so much. And this is actually, I'm justifying it as a way to move myself away from capitalism too. Because, here's my rationale. I think living in capitalism, in this hustle culture, has made us all so keenly aware of the various avenues of profit, income, revenue, that we have ceased to become our own selves, that we are always framing our lives, livelihoods, and identities on how much money, fame, status, capital we can gather, and that has changed the way that we behave towards ourselves, others, in society at large, into people pleasers. Not because we want to please people, but because we as a society has cemented this idea that if you people please and excel at it, you can never, ever, ever have financial or status insecurity, and that if you are well liked by many different people in many different circles, then you are always guaranteed income and status. And I just feel like we've lost ourselves. And it may be like rash and stupid of me to take on this persona, but I'd like to incorporate more and more of this into my life so that I can start detaching myself from this hamster wheel of eternally churning content, selfhoods, identities for sale, for consumption, for other people to just like throw money at me for. At what point do we stop making money and start concentrating on what living actually is outside of the capitalistic framework that we've been trapped in? So, you know, that's me. And there's only, like, being nice all the time to so many different people is exhausting. I want to be a nice person. But being a nice person does not mean that you have to be nice all the time. Alright, the first thing I'm going to do is to chop up some onions, and we're going to chop up some carrots, and then I'm going to shred the rest of the carrots while we cook our mushrooms. They're going to go into this pot, onions and carrots. That's as far as my thought has gotten. I haven't gotten very far yet, but I will be chopping things. I don't want to chop off any fingers, but I will do my best to read some comments while I do this. Yeah, the buzz cut look is really not for me. This face, as I age, is getting even rounder, and it's just like really not suitable for like a complete buzz. It just enunciates the bulbous nature of my head too much, and I'm pretty insecure about it, so we're not shaving our heads anytime soon. Hey, you know, I could be gay. I just don't even know myself. Never say never. I think it would increase the variety in my life by a lot if I could be gay, because, you know, I feel like I've given straight men a try. I feel like I understand what's going on in that arena now. I would like to transfer landscapes, maybe. Help. A lot of oil. Last time I didn't use enough oil, and it didn't taste very good. So today we probably poured in, I don't know, a lot. Hopefully it's enough. Yes, all my socials are fake 9 stars. Correcto. little bit of oil for mushrooms. I don't know, guys. There's a lot of conflicting tips online on how to cook mushrooms. I just cook mushrooms. The phase of my life where I developed a recipe for a living is over for now. I could do it again, but for now it's over. So right now, I'm just cooking. I don't want to think about recipes. I don't want to think about best practices with scare quotes around it, because I don't think there is a best practice. I think whatever you want to do is great, because I'm not really a goals person anymore. I just want to eat food. So I don't really care about the best way to cook mushrooms at this stage of my life. Maybe one day I will, again. Minnesota! I do want to visit Minnesota, yeah. I feel like brie kind of always tastes like cat box, but I don't know if I have buzz cuts on the Tumblr. I would not trust Rams's information unless Rams has a bookmarked page of me with a buzz cut on my Tumblr. That Tumblr does contain photos from 2011, starting from when I taught abroad in China. And if you really dig through the archives, you'll find very old photos of Aaron. So, you know, there's always that. That would be fun. It's the internet, y'all. Whatever I put on there is kind of forever, isn't it? Hi, New Jersey. I look like a mom in the 60s or 70s? Interesting. I'll take that as a compliment. I feel like they had pretty good fashion back then. Lot of oyster mushrooms. Does anyone have tips on best applications for oyster mushrooms? So I feel like it's a lot to put into this pot. I'll start by putting it into this pot. But if you have any other ideas of what to do with these. Ooh, vegan scallops. That sounds good. Yum. You shred your mushrooms? And then what do you do with them? So it's edging on 80 degrees in New York right now. I kind of don't feel like turning on the oven. But I did think about roasting them, yes. Absolutely. So that's one oyster mushroom. I don't know, maybe I can go a little bit heavier and just make a big batch of whatever this is gonna, I don't know what this is gonna be, y'all. I have no idea. Ooh, grilled oyster mushrooms. I don't think they reduce as much as other mushrooms, but yes, they will reduce. I feel like maybe I should turn on the oven so I can roast my kabocha, but I kind of want to steam the kabocha. The roasted kabocha didn't really turn out super delicious last time that I did it, so maybe that's a steam thing. I don't think it's very easy to pull oyster mushrooms into like a pulled pork consistency. But I guess I can shred it beforehand. I don't know if I have enough patience for it, but I can give it a try. I was originally thinking of using my Thai curry paste, but I just remembered that I actually have this leftover gochujang that I really need to get rid of, and maybe some other condiments too that we can use up. It's been a long time. So this gochujang has actually like dehydrated in here. It's like hardened. It's not even sticking. So I have no idea how to resuscitate this other than maybe soak it in water for a little bit. But for now, we're gonna go in with this paste that expired in October of 2020. It is samjang. It's also Korean. It's a seasoned soybean paste that has wheat flour, soybean, corn syrup, salt, onion, sugar, garlic, fructose, koji seed, that's the starter of sorts, and ginger. Looks good, no mold, smells fine, delicious. I really don't want to microwave the plastic container, otherwise I totally agree, I would have, but microwaving plastic containers is like a no-no, for me at least. I know I probably eat so much plastic in other areas of my life, but I think there's something about microwaving plastic that just really gets to me. A little mold will be okay. I think that's how we got into this baby ulcer mess. That and stress and life, I guess. Life will do it to you. Yes, I agree. More mushrooms are on the way, don't you worry. Yeah, the plastic grinder rant was in a video review video that was still from the test kitchen days. And now I use plastic grinders for peppers, eating microparticles of plastic. Oh, how the wheels keep on wheeling in life and take me back around circles I never thought I would revisit. Oh, is mold mushrooms? I mean, they're both kind of spores, but I don't know if mold qualifies as mushrooms, but I am not a scientist, as you know. Has anyone seen The Northman? I saw it last night. I would like to know your thoughts on it. I have very ambivalent thoughts on the movie. The Northman. The Northman. The Northman? It's a movie. What else has the director done? It certainly looked like it had a humongous budget. So I would say out of all the characters, Anya's character was the most believable and or well acted. She's just so good at transforming into those roles, I think. So there's that. Oh, I could not finish The Lighthouse. I guess this is just not my director, you know? So I would like to make something else with those mushrooms. I almost want to make them into like a stew. Like maybe like a Thai curry stew. But maybe we can use some of Grandma's milk? Would milk go into the stew? Oh, I love The Witch. That was a really good movie. Is that by the same director? Oh, I guess that might be my favorite of his then. I don't think I want to fry stuff right now, y'all. You think I want to do all these things and I don't. add in a little bit of white pepper. A little coriander. Ooh. I'm gonna add in a little bit of these green garlic scapes. They're like dehydrated scapes. They smell almost like green tea. And maybe a little bit of thyme too. Let's see. I don't know how that's gonna taste with the Korean flavors, but YOLO. Would I be interested in piercings? Yes. I want to get a septum one. How do we think that's gonna look? A lot of people have voiced their concerns for me. They do not think it would look good. But I also have a lot of people who say, just do it. I kind of really like eating the kimchi one, Ran, so I kind of don't want to use it here. This is like such a snack. This dehydrated kimchi, it's amazing. It's so crunchy. It's like a chip. It's like a goddamn roasted cabbage kimchi chip. It's tart. It's vinegary. It's a little bit spicy. And it's very salty. What is a larbette piercing? I don't know that piercing. You think an eyebrow one would look good? Right here? Right there? I feel like on this side, maybe. What is a Medusa piercing? I have no idea what a Medusa piercing is. I'm so sad that this, well, just so you know, if you buy Trader Joe's gochujang and you don't use all of it and it just sits in your fridge for a few months, it might solidify into like plastic feeling things. It's very hard right now to salvage this, but I'm gonna do it. I'll be patient. Yeah, I am trying to up my hoe antics. Ram is not wrong. This is a reality that Ram has manifested for me, I feel like. He kept joking about it. And then I was like, okay, let's do it. How do we increase the hoe antics? I don't think I want to try out the fake septum. Like, I think I just want to do it. I don't know when, but I know I want to. So I feel like that's enough. There are so many things that you can't try on before you commit to it fully. So I'm just going to give myself this practice of, you know, diving off a small cliff of personal choice and seeing where I land. That's the fun of living, isn't it? Wait. who's determining what goes into your hoe phase? Like, you determine what goes into your hoe phase. If it's too much effort, you're clearly following the wrong hoe phase. You gotta follow your own hoe phase. Whoop. My phone's like, no more hoe phasing. All right, part one of our gochujang is going in. The rest of it still needs some time in the container. I've turned off the heat for the pot because it's starting to get really brown and black on the bottom. So I think we're lacking some moisture. I'm going to try to release some of this kimchi and then pour in the water that is now kimchi flavored water. But I'm trying to move very slowly so I don't accidentally splash this kimchi water everywhere, on myself, in the kitchen, on the floor. Patience is key. We should sing Shania Twain whenever we want, honestly. Hoe phase or not. All right, we're gonna go with chunks of carrots and chunks of mushroom for our Thai thing. And then I think I'm gonna eat some of this with my lentils that I cooked for lunch today. Love a good lentil. Yum. Okay. So for this one, let's use some coconut oil. See? I don't know. Can you see in the back? It's on the inside. I don't know what brand it is. It's not thrifted. I bought this when I was working in kitchens. Basically underneath all of our chef coats, we had to wear white shirts. And in the summer, in restaurants with broken ACs, this would be the only thing I would want to wear underneath my chef coat because the chef coat is an entirely unbreathable polyester blend. It's horrific to cook in. And I just needed to keep it as bare bones as possible. am just vertically cutting the oyster mushrooms into quarters, so 4 spears, and then I'm going to cut them into chunks. You don't keep the chef coats. They get laundered and replaced every shift. You have the same herbal clay pot? Where did you get yours? Nice. Our carrots are just frying in the oil. That's kind of snazzy. Love the smell of coconut oil. This is March, expired in 2022. Not bad. Could always be worse. Bye, good night. Definitely should have fried this paste first. Definitely should have fried the paste first. You know what, y'all? I was born a sick kid. Some people are just born with the immune systems of, like, fruit flies, you know? So, I'm one of them. I'll be fine. We still have enough for 2 more batches. To be continued. It's like 80% salt. I don't think I need to smell salt. We'll be fine. Honestly, I think a lot of my health issues stem from stress, and the stress kind of started in utero because when I was still on my mom's tummy, there was a lot of shit going down in China, and mom was already baseline stressed as a person, and that was just, I think, too much for her. It's not a good time to be pregnant with a child, for sure. But we survive, and we carry on, and we live to the best of our abilities, and should we get sick, and when we die, because we will, then we will. these mushrooms are from the grocery store. They were only like $1 something a pound. So for the 4 oyster mushrooms, I only paid maybe $3-4 bucks. It was a deal I could not refuse. Yes, Asian grocery store in Elmhurst. How'd you know? You been stalking me? That's kind of creepy, not gonna lie. Please don't stalk, says my #1 stalker around. No, these are dishes for me, because I have to eat too, since I'm a human being. I have no idea why my milk is coagulating, but maybe something in the curry paste is reacting with it, but there's some milky chunks happening. It's like we're making cheese, y'all. Alright, let me see what's happening here. Could we possibly add in our gochujang? Wait, let's taste this first. Yes, Fred loves butter. For shoresies. Love butter. Mmm. She's kind of tasty as is. Maybe I'll put the rest of the gochujang in here, in our Thai curry, for a little bit of sweetness. Let's be honest, cats probably love everything that we love, that we shouldn't have too much of. So for example, Fred loves cookies, Fred loves milk, Fred loves butter, cream, he loves yogurt, which I guess is fine, huh? Yogurt is pretty good. Bacon, all the meats, all the cheese, yep. Except Fred doesn't have teeth, so he's kind of choosy about what cheese he actually approaches. I usually have to like mush it up or melt it between my fingies before I can feed it to him. Yeah, Fred has 3 teeth. Fred is with Aaron. Fred is no longer with me. Good luck, Eileen. I hope you're comfortable wherever you are. Jennifer hasn't checked in a while, huh? Fred hasn't been with me since like December. You've been missing a lot of updates. What is Aaron's vlog? I have no idea what you're talking about. But yeah, if you want to follow Aaron on Instagram, you can probably see more Fred updates. They're very happy together, and I'm happy for them. Wow, this water is getting very thick as it lifts the gochujang. Is anyone else watching this go down? Yeah, Fred loves Aaron. Loves Aaron. I don't think Fred ever loved me that much. But it is okay. I've accepted it. I've come to terms and peace with it. This is gochujang from Trader Joe's, indeed. I'm trying to clean the container of this now very residued gochujang. I'm gonna give it 2 more minutes and then I'm gonna quit because my hands are tired and my curry is boiling. It's like gochujang. I'm not enough of a gochujang expert to tell you which brands taste better. They all taste fine to me. I tend to look for the ones that are made with sugar and not high fructose corn syrup. This one is made with rice, tapioca syrup, red pepper seasoning, water, sea salt, ethyl alcohol to preserve. So some brands do it with high fructose corn syrup. I just try to stay away from that. Yeah, I was looking at my own wrist tattoo today and I like acknowledged to myself how much I liked it. It's so funny because when I went to get it, I was like, I don't know if this is gonna work, but let's just do it. And it's turned out to be one of my favorite pieces so far. So I'm really happy with it. All right, 20 seconds left on this scraping. And then we dump. We dump and we abandon. I'm actually not a huge fan of this tattoo, but I'm going to be placing other tattoos alongside it, so it won't be on its own and so obvious in the future. I do think now this curry is a little too salty, so let's dig around and see what else we can put in here to reduce the overall sodium taste. Okay, you all have seen me, maybe not at my worst, but you've definitely seen me very pissed off. You've seen me very passive aggressive. You've seen me when I'm happy and laughy, but I feel like you've gotten a good sense of the spectrum of my emotions. Would you say that's accurate? On a scale of 1 to 5, how accurate is that statement? 5 being accurate and 1 being inaccurate. How much of me do you think you have a firm grasp on? I do have a follow-up question to this. The scale is 1 to 5. A lot of 4s. I would say that's an average. Okay, that's pretty interesting. Okay, so based on what you think you know about me, who in the audience likes to play matchmaker and tell me what kind of personality or type of person you think I would actually be compatible with in the long term? Do you foresee there being a personality who can actually withstand me in a long-term relationship? Someone who is really easygoing and likes to be given direction. I can see how I'm bossy, but I don't actually know how much I like to give direction, because then I feel like I'm responsible for the results of that direction and directive. I remember there was one pivotal moment in elementary school where we were doing a group project and somebody stood up in my group and was like, "You're so bossy." And I remember possibly crying at that feedback. And I feel like it was from that moment on that I never wanted to take on a leadership position. And I think elementary school was like a very fraught time for me because I was still a recent immigrant and I think I really wanted to be accepted. And so to get that kind of feedback made me very scared that I would lose that approval. You don't think anyone would be compatible with me? Someone who is accepting and dismissive? Linda, I don't know, girl. I don't know what you're saying there. Someone secure who's reassuring and validates your feelings. A sub. I don't know if I would be into a sub, TBH, right now. Someone who loves deeply and is open-minded and accepting. You gotta keep it real though, guys. Do you think these people actually exist? All these characteristics, you're abstracting them, right? You're saying them as pure qualities. How many people have you met with these qualities? as a staple part of their personality and performance of the self. Someone profoundly chill. Yeah, I agree. Do you think I'm high energy? I don't feel high energy, but maybe I am. He would have to be intellectual, patient, kind-hearted, older than you, and knows what he wants in life. Someone who is independent, doesn't require validation, a person is transparent, confident in themselves, perhaps someone older. Do you guys think, and I know there's a variety of ages in my viewership, but do you actually think that older men are older in terms of being more mature? Because after going on dates, or at least talking with people who are in their 40s, I actually don't find them that mature. At least on an initial meeting, just relatively speaking. You are too opinionated for most people. Yeah, I know. I know. Someone that has a golden retriever attitude, but I don't like golden retrievers. See, that's the thing. Even if you find someone who can tolerate you, do you actually want them? Like, that's the other part of this question, too, is like, sure, we can be compatible on paper, but do we have a chance in wanting to be with each other? I think someone who is as introspective as you are, definitely laid back, just not a pushover. I would agree. Married, but have my own place. You need someone that's understanding, considerate of independence, intelligence, and inquisitive, and when y'all talk, y'all can have respectful, challenging debates. That sounds nice. Isn't humor a key factor? I'll leave that up to the chat room. Is humor a key factor in the partner that you see being sustainable for me? Hi Trinidad, we're talking currently about who you foresee being a suitable and sustainable partner for me. If they should exist, what kind of personality traits would they embody? And I'm going to be eating various mush things soon. A German man, yes please. To live with or marry, it would need to be somebody you cannot live without. Somebody you respect because they can crush you. It's a risk you are maybe not ready for. Fascinating. I don't disagree. I think the odds of someone being able to stand you are far better than finding someone that you can tolerate for that long term. I see. So it's easier for a partner to accept me in the long term than for me to accept them in the long term? Interesting. I think maybe making a list of qualities you look for in a partner is detrimental. It's about feeling it out and just finding someone you feel comfortable with. Yeah, I'm not really making a checklist mentally for myself. I'm just curious what you guys think. Because what else are we going to talk about while I cook away this mush? Someone who's matured through their trauma and is willing to work on themselves constantly, regardless of class, income level, or other circumstances. Maybe these are good things to consider for all of us. I know Myers-Briggs, I know my type. I don't think the type that I'm supposed to be with is the type that I want, unfortunately. Honestly, you like the idea of a throuple? Who's the third? Yeah, read my tarot cards. I welcome. See, the thing with golden retrievers is that they are beautiful and friendly, but they can be kind of dumb. My forever person is nothing like I imagined he would be. Nothing. And you're happy with that, I'm assuming. I think you need someone who is your opposite, who challenges your thinking. I fell in love like coming down with the plague. Someone that is attracted to you that doesn't take any bull. I think, yeah, that sounds... Hopefully, my partner is attracted to me. Hi, Canada and the Upper West Side. I mean, I have never had a romantic partner, and I feel tremendous pressure to make my life complete without a partner. I think it's important to value your life as it is. Oh, you feel tremendous pressure to make your life complete with a partner, but it's important to value your life as it is. I don't disagree. I think a partner can be very valuable, and it can be a very delightful thing to have, but I don't think having the mindset of like, oh, I need a partner is ever a good place to be in mentally. So find a fire sign. They will benefit from your attributes and will uplift you. Someone who gives you a challenge intelligently and you can have good communication with. Tried it. Turned out really bad. This is why I don't believe in horoscopes or personality quizzes. Although I do really like the Enneagram for sure. They have to be able to keep up with you intellectually. Yeah. I think that is true. Hey, all my INFJ peeps. I am not a Pisces. Incorrect. But I've often identified with Pisces memes more than my own signs. Everybody has drama. I would rather have someone who's open about sharing their drama than someone who's suppressing their drama. I think everybody has drama. I want to thicken up this soup. Maybe I'll just keep cooking it. Oh, yes. Oh my God. I'm a freaking genius. I have some cauliflower. It will be great in here to decrease that sodium content. Fantastic. Cauliflower is so good in Thai flavors, I feel like. Wow, you guys have high standards. You need someone who's a good listener, but also a good cook, an outdoors kind of guy, and he must have no qualms about washing the wares, good at IT, and who doesn't snore. Natalie, are you just describing your own Mr. Perfect? That's a lot to ask for in a man. He's just one man, ladies. Have you seen the men who's available these days? I'll settle for 3 of those traits. Well, we know what Linda likes. Guess Linda does not care that sex is not a big thing for me, but... Virtual empathy. Hi, Atlanta. Okay, I think I'm ready to eat some food. We're just gonna let this cauliflower kind of cook and chill in this broth. Hopefully the liquid will evaporate a little bit, although I guess the cauliflower is gonna unleash more liquid now. Whoops, but eventually we'll get there. For my dinner. You want me to sit and eat? I can drag a chair over. I love this chat. If he likes photos of OnlyFans models on Instagram, like, if you tell him to stop, he might stop it, but that's the symptom. Like, why does he do it, I think, is what bothers you. Am I right or am I wrong? And you telling him to stop that behavior will just let him know that you don't approve of that behavior, and it might lead him to hide it from you, right? That's gonna cause a certain level of distrust in the relationship. So, I don't know. I almost feel like if that's my relationship, and it's not, obviously, I'm overstepping, because I'm egotistical and this is my live stream. But if that were my relationship, I would be like, what do you like about the models? What do you hope to gain by liking their... Okay, here's the thing. I never understood why men like pictures of hot women on Instagram that have many followers. Maybe if this model didn't have a lot of followers, maybe he's like horny, or he just likes her body. And he thinks that by liking her photo, she's gonna pay attention to him. But for like models who have thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of followers, what is the point of liking their photo? Like, they know they're a thirst trap. They know everybody likes their body because that's what they put on their Instagram. But I just never understood the psychology of men who like photos of hot women on Instagram. Like, what is the purpose of liking? And can we just talk about how when Instagram allowed you to stalk your friends and what they liked? I miss that feature so much because I learned so much more about my friends through understanding what they liked on Instagram than anything else. And it was like the most delicious form of stealthy stalking I could participate in, and they took it away from me. The moment that feature was disappeared from Instagram was the moment my life became so much more boring. I don't want to make my own brand of MSG. How do you even do that? Why is that? That's not necessary. We don't need more shit in the world. You only need one kind of MSG. Okay, here's my thoughts on this topic. All right? We understand that people are horny. We understand that people like boobs. We understand that people like sex. We understand that. Not everyone, but a lot of people do. If my partner were into watching porn and OnlyFans girls, I would technically have no issue with that if he could be transparent about it. Now, if he's going behind my back and like stealthily watching this shit and not allowing me to like be a part of, not necessarily watching it with him, but just be a part of his life in that aspect, I would feel like that's detrimental to our relationship because there is a lack of trust there. There is a presence of secrecy there, and I just don't like secrets. I think it's like, I'm not one of those like really gung-ho sex positive people, but I'm also not sex negative, is that the word, or sex repulsed. I understand that people enjoy sex, and I don't want to take that away from my partner. But I think once my partner doesn't trust me enough to like allow me to understand what he enjoys about that, that's when I feel like I'm actually not his partner, but I'm just someone in his life that is serving a particular function, which is fine, but then I need to understand exactly what functions I'm being kept in his life for so that I know where I stand. I don't want to have like this delusion of who I am to this person. I want to understand what they like in me, what they appreciate in me, and I want to know how much they value me so that I could not go into this relationship with a skewed understanding of the dynamics of power. Because how much you like someone in a relationship creates a dynamic of power. And I would just much rather be in the loop than not. Does that make sense? Y'all definitely don't have to agree with me. My number one pet peeve is when people aren't honest with me. That's it. If my partner isn't honest with me, that's not a partner. So for me, that's the bottom line. If you're gonna watch porn, fine. Like, I hope it's good porn. I hope you don't have like shitty taste in porn. I would like my man to have good taste and stuff. But whatever you're into, as long as you're comfortable with telling me about it and you're not ashamed of it and you're not trying to hide stuff from me, then what does that have to do with me? That's just something that my partner enjoys. And I'm totally fine with that. Nobody is 100% honest. But I hope they don't feel a need to keep things from me because they fear me or they want to manipulate me. It's okay to not be honest all the time. It's not okay to plan for deception. And I feel like there are people out there who plan to deceive you and to lie by omission. And those are the types of people that I'm not okay with developing long-term relationships with. That's where I draw the line. And as someone who's been, I'm not asking my partner to tell me like I looked at porn today and I jerked off. I don't need to know that. But if they are keeping a facade up about not liking porn or like kind of dissociating from their habit of watching porn and purposefully keeping that side of their life away from me as if to hide a part of their character, that's what I'm not cool with. I don't need like a play-by-play of what porn he watched and how he jerked off to it or didn't. That's not what I mean at all. I just don't want him to deny something that brings him joy because he's afraid of what I would think of it. Because if he's afraid of what I would think of it and that's keeping secrets from me is protecting him safe from that fear, then that means he doesn't trust me. That's a problem for my relationship. I need a partner who trusts me. If I have a partner who doesn't trust me, then that's not a partner. Yeah. I totally agree that some people don't know how to be honest with themselves first before venturing and making relationships and misleading others. I feel like a lot of people are afraid to be honest with themselves, so. Exactly. The cover-up is the problem, not the liking photos. So I think there is a relational disconnect between what you're discussing and what you actually want to address. I think you're discussing him liking these models, photos on social media or other platforms, but you're not discussing the impact that it's having on you emotionally. And you're not discussing how that emotional impact is translating into how you're perceiving this relationship change, especially because you're long distance. There's already insecurity there. I feel like there's already insecurity that he might be cheating on you in real life because you're not there with him. There's insecurity maybe about trust issues. Maybe there's basis for when you guys weren't long distance, before the long distance started, that planted a seed. I don't know your scenario. I'm obviously just projecting, but the watermelon is in the fridge. I started cutting into it today. Are you really ready for a relationship? How would I know? How would I know? I'm gonna eat the food, but I'm washing the celery first. Is that okay? I just want to get this out of the sink first. I mean, I think it's great that you're trying to communicate with him. Did he answer your questions in a satisfactory way to you that made you understand him more? Because there's a type of question and answer that creates solutions and understanding, and then there's the type of question and answer that is going to be very antagonistic in both intention and results. So just keep in mind which one. He told me he didn't understand why I made you upset. Did you tell him why I made you upset after he said that? I mean, do you? Do you consider that cheating? Yeah, I think that's definitely worthy of taking some time to understand why you're upset. Because if you don't understand why you're upset, then he's not going to understand why you're upset, and then it just seems like you're passing down arbitrary rules. Which is fine, it's your relationship, you do with it what you want, girl. But I think if I were your partner, I would be like, well, can you explain to me why this hurts you? Because as your partner, I cannot just bend to your will to keep you happy whenever your needs conflict with my needs. So I think if I loved you, I would want to know why this hurts you. And then we can negotiate how to move forward. That doesn't involve interrupting our lives for each other in a way that creates hostility and bitterness. Wait, who was in an open relationship? I'm so confused. I'm so confused. Yes, I was in an open relationship. I'm not understanding the comments right now. I need to catch up to the comments, y'all. I'm confused. Oh, you said you could never look like those girls. There you go. So there is a sense of like insecurity happening, right? Because you feel like your partner is into these really hot girls who, by the way, just to put it into perspective, is their livelihood. Like they make their living off of looking hot. That's their job. There are people who go to the gym for many hours a day, every single day, who work on their physique, who take supplements, who watch everything they eat, who might not be really happy because they would rather look a certain way. And we all do trade-offs in life. I will never look like some models. Do I want to? Of course. We're all trained to want to look beautiful. But am I willing to make the trade-offs and sacrifices to get there? I've decided no, and I've decided I'd much rather be with someone who can be my partner regardless of how model or not model I look like, because it's not sustainable for me to look like that all the time. So if you already know that that's triggering your insecurity about not looking hot enough, and you feel like your guy wants really hot girls, maybe it's time to have a talk with him about like, well, do you want a girl who looks that hot? Because I don't think I can be that girl. And You know, like, it's going to be a very tough discussion. Also depends on how long you guys have been together and how well you know each other and how honest you can be with each other. There's a lot of variables at play. Obviously, there's a lot of trade-offs with having tough talks like this. It can ruin a relationship if you guys don't have a close enough bond where there's not enough trust. Or it can actually deepen the relationship if you do already have trust in your foundation, in a very secure, attached way. That will just enable you to understand each other, why he does this, why he likes those girls, why he actually physically likes those photos as opposed to just enjoying them. And you can talk about your insecurities so that he understands you a little bit better. And if he loves you and wants you to stay around and be your partner, I think he would take some action to make you feel better about yourself. If he doesn't take action to make you feel better about yourself, think about how that reaction coming from a person you consider to be your partner is going to affect you in the long term. If you stay in a relationship with a partner who does not support you in your time of insecurity and need, do you actually want this person to be your partner in the long term? It's not just about him wanting you. It's about, is this what you want, right? Is this the kind of partner you want going forward in life? And yes, nobody is perfect. You're going to have to make trade-offs. But you have to decide what trade-offs you're willing to do. I will also say that, like, keep in mind, we have so many filters these days. Even girls who look like that don't look like that. Do you know what I mean? So just be careful. Also, we are all born with different genetics. Some of us will just never be as physically pleasing as some are. That's just the reality that we have to accept. And then we age and things change and constant fluctuations happen. So I'm still working on accepting myself. I don't think there is an end to this task, but I think if you're willing to allow yourself to become whoever you become, then you're gonna hopefully find someone who can accept you. I don't know if I will, but I'm hoping. So, can I just ask you, how old you are? Because I'm ageist, and I want to know how young you are, and if this is your first or second relationship, maybe. Also, take whatever words are coming out of my mouth with a huge grain of salt, because I'm only speaking from my experience. It might not work for you. 24 is still pretty young. When I was 24, I was stressing out about what I wanted to do for a living, who I wanted to be in the future, if my relationship with Aaron was going to work out, if we were compatible. And 24 is a time when I was in extreme doubt about myself, never really had much confidence in my job, living situation, and my ability to be securely attached to a partner. So just allow yourself that grace to figure things out. You're going to make some mistakes, or rather, I like to call them decisions that you regret later. But just because you regret them later does not mean that they were the wrong thing to do. They were simply one component of your learning journey, which never ends until you die, or maybe continues beyond death. I don't know what happens after death. So, I think learning how to talk with people is difficult. I'm still learning how to talk with people. Obviously, this is coming from a person who got fired from her last job for multiple reasons. I talk in a very brutish way sometimes. So, my words, my conversations, my dialogues, my exchanges with people don't always go the right way, don't always go as intended. My intentions are not always enunciated and expressed the way that I wanted them to be. So it takes a lot of practice, and depending on how gifted you are naturally with words and reading people and their expressions and their body language, it might take more practice given all those variables. So, you know, it's just like you're young-ish. You may not feel young. You may feel like you should be an adult and you should have everything together, but I can guarantee you I don't have everything together, and I'm 10 years older than you are, and I'm sure there are a lot of people who are older than me who still don't think they have everything together, and that's okay because that's part of being human and being alive. If you have all of your shit together all the time, you would be dead. You would be like so confident in who you are that you would never change, right? So I'm saying all of this to let you know that, like, being in relationships suck sometimes because there's just bound to be misunderstanding between people because everyone comes from a different background with different kinds of baggage and traumas, and they don't really know how to express it to other people yet because they haven't even sorted it out for themselves, and it gets very complicated and weighty, and people want to avoid it because it makes them feel awful inside, and it might result in a lot of tension in a relationship. So take it easy. Be forgiving of yourself. Do not forgive others unless they deserve it. And how much they deserve your forgiveness is for you to find out and decide. Take into account everything that they have done that you could see and observe. Take into account not only their words, but their actions. If you know that it's hard for you to walk away, even if you're being mistreated, take a good look at the words that you just typed. Think about those words coming out of your best friend's mouth. And then think about the advice that you would give her. Think about relationships and toxic love as a drug. Think about it. Think about wanting to stay in a bad relationship as an addiction. Think about how hard it is to quit a hard drug. And know that that is the road that's ahead for you if that's the case. Some people have more addictive personalities than others. That's also just not up to us. If you got the short end of the stick regarding that kind of genetic hand-me-down, then you got the short end of the stick and you have to learn how to work with it. But if you already know this relationship isn't healthy, it's not working for you, it's making you doubt yourself, it's making you drop in self-esteem, and you aren't getting anything from this partner that you can't, like, find fulfilling or loved, if you're not getting anything from him that you can't already give yourself, then probably it is time to leave. And it's easier to leave now than later. Even if now doesn't feel easy, it will still be the easiest it will ever be. Because the sunken cost fallacy teaches us that the longer you've been in a losing situation, the more likely you are not to leave that situation ever because you feel like you've invested too much of yourself in it. Again, to put it into perspective, you're 24. How long do you think you're going to live for? Think about how much of your life is ahead of you, and think about how much time you have to find someone else who might be a better fit. Think about your time as an investment for yourself and your future, and think about if you want to gamble your money on someone who hasn't shown to be supportive. You can. It's your life. I'm not telling you either way, but I'm just telling you that obviously you understand the logic of this. You just find it hard to do. And that is because toxic love can be an addiction. And it is very hard to walk away from an addiction. So take some time to yourself and think about what you're actually getting from this relationship. Think about what you love most about this relationship. I've seen some dating advice videos that tell you to make 2 columns and list all the pros and cons of the person that you're with, how they make you feel good in one column, everything that you like about them in one column, and in the other column, all the things that you don't like about the relationship and the person. And just try to be as objective as you can be, and take not just an hour to do that, but like keep adding to the list over the next 2 weeks or even a month, and then like breathe. And try to look at your list. And try to be your own big sister. And try to just understand what it is that you're actually dealing with here. remember what I said, but I'm glad it didn't ruin your brain or your life, because sometimes the stuff that I say, I don't know, girl. But here's the thing. If he's having addiction issues of his own, it's gonna make you feel like a bad person, but don't. Remember that you are not responsible for other people, because you are first responsible for yourself. You simply cannot live your life living for others. I am responsible for my grandmother, but I cannot let go of my own well-being to acquiesce to all of my grandmother's needs. If at some point my grandmother's situation gets dire enough that I have to step away, then I will. Because everyone in my family has told me that I need to prioritize myself over my grandmother, including my grandmother's son, my uncle. So, it is not your job to fix him. It is not your job to heal him. It is simply a lottery of life that he got stuck with alcoholism. And he needs to find his way out of there. And if you want to be his partner, you certainly can help. And I think partners should support each other. But the impulse and the motivation for him quitting his alcoholism needs to come from him. He needs to do most of the heavy lifting because it's his issue. You can play support. But if playing his support drags you down with him, it's probably time to take a gander at everything that's happened between you and him and see if it's actually worth it for you to stay in that situation, especially if he's not dedicated enough to helping himself. Some people will rely on you because you are a giver, but know that in giving to other people, you can both be hurting yourself and others, because you can enable the problem by helping him too much. It's kind of like a helicoptering parent who never lets their child grow up, and their child never delivers the skills that they need to sustainably be an adult later. It's a very tough situation. It's a completely gray area. It's really hard to gauge these things. There's a lot of guilt and shame embroiled in thinking about all of these issues, especially if you grew up in an environment that was volatile and unstable, and you need to find comfort in reciprocating that kind of instability, and you were required as a child to please everyone for love and attention and validation, and you're used to doing that for other people. But what you're used to and what you think you want are sometimes very different from what you need going forward in life. And we're all changing, right? All the time. You're 24 now, you'll be different when you're 28. You'll be different when you're 32. You'll be different. You will not be you anymore, and that's neither good nor bad. It just means that change will happen. So take it as you feel ready to. Don't let us pressure you into any decision making now, unless he's actively abusing you and, like literally abusing you. You have some time to take for yourself to think about what you want to do for next steps. You don't need to feel rushed. Think on it and listen to your gut. It's a skill that I didn't develop until I was maybe in my 30s. So if you start now, you'll have a head start on the process of listening to your gut. Learn to trust yourself. It's a process. You won't immediately know how to trust yourself, but know that your opinion and gauge of situations in life is just as valid as anyone else's, including mine, including any other platforms that are professionally advice givers, because they simply don't know the intricacies of yourself and your history. So take everyone's opinions into consideration, but do not simply follow someone's prescription of what you should or shouldn't do. Gauge for yourself what fits for you in your situation, in your current iteration of self, and yeah, that's all. it's tough. I'm sorry you're dealing with this, but I'm glad that you're dealing with it, and that you're willing to talk about it. Definitely don't keep these things to yourself. Maybe don't tell like internet strangers about everything, because some internet strangers, myself included, are not trustworthy and they don't know what they're talking about. But if you have friends and family who you can confide in, people who actually love you for sure, and are invested in you and your well-being, tell them about these things. Don't hide because of shame or guilt or feeling inadequate, because your friends and family who love you will support you. So you need support in a time when you are feeling insecure. That's not like throwing any shade on you. That's just a fact. All of us need support when we're feeling insecure. And it is invaluable to have friends and family who care. I think when I was going through my own nightmare of a Hinge match and trying to decide what the fuck was going on, not having those friends would have been so bad as a result. It was simply because of my friends that I got out of that situation, you know, because I felt stuck. I would love to be in mental health, but I really just don't want to go back to school. I also think that people glamorize the idea of being in mental health a lot. I think it's a very tough profession to be in. So. A lot of comments. A lot of comments, guys. It's really hard to know how you can trust a person or not. I don't know how long it takes. I think I got honestly really lucky with meeting Aaron in my early 20s and staying with him for all of my 20s, because it was such a formative time. And you know, we definitely had our arguments and disagreements and incompatibilities for sure, but he's a good guy, and he showed me what for the most part a trusting relationship can be. I could have ended up with much worse, y'all. And then what? My formative experiences of being in a relationship would have been so skewed towards unhealthy dynamics. I'm not saying Aaron and I had the most healthy relationship ever, but I learned a lot, and I'm pretty thankful. I'm pretty thankful. I think empath or not, you just need to decide whether or not this partner is actually supportive enough for you. You don't want to be the only person in the relationship supporting the other. You want it to be not necessarily an equal exchange, but definitely some exchange needs to happen in order for it to be a partnership. Otherwise, it's just very one-sided. And that's no way to build a relationship. Any thoughts on your new haircut? I'm fine with it. Are you fine with it? Do you like it? Do you hate it? I don't listen to any podcasts, no. Many of us hate who we are and are thankful for anyone who loves us. Okay, yes, but are they loving you in a sustainable way that is wholesome and well-intentioned? Because anyone can show you expressions of love, but do they actually love you? That's the question. I also really like Esther Perel. I do recommend listening to her. If not for anything other than just how well spoken she is, she carries herself with such confident gravity. But yeah. Ooh, an AA sponsor. Don't you have to be a recovered alcoholic to be a sponsor? An empath is an identity label, just like asexual is. Just because I'm on the asexual spectrum, just because you might be an empath, does not mean that you have to conform to whatever identities are prescribed by that term. And it also means that you can fluctuate within that identity too. Just because you are more inclined to be a certain way does not mean that you have to stay that way. You do have a choice over who you want to become. There is some degree of agency in your existence, so just keep that in mind. Do you want to be a doormat? If you do, that's your choice, babe. But if you don't, and you would like to find someone who values you on a level that is dynamically caring, then definitely make some moves to make sure that you're developing a personality for yourself that can invite that kind of person to come into your life. It's very abstract, but I think you'll get the hang of it. I still haven't yet, but I'm working on it. It takes time. Okay. How much battery are we working off of? 29%. All right, we're gonna have to go in 20 minutes for sure. One thing that I've learned about life in the last 2.5 years is somehow all of my issues come down to me against me, which is to say I can be my own worst enemy, and I have been for so much of my life, but I am also capable of understanding what it might mean to be my own best friend sometimes. And it's gonna feel very unnatural when I start to do it for the first time, but that's okay. It's another skill to be developed. This is delicious, by the way. So good. Yum. It's a little salty and sweet. The mushrooms are tender and silky, but still a little bit thickened on the outside with that glazy sauce. And I agree with Sarah that you need to work out what you will and won't accept and maintain that, but also that process of working that out is going to take time, and you just have to remember that you won't have all the answers right away, and to not be one more person who pushes herself to find those answers too quickly, because I think it makes total sense that you're going to take a while to understand what you like and don't like. So just be open to it. fat, huh? Ever since I left Delish, I don't think I bought bacon. I normally go with glass for bacon fat because when I get the bacon fat out of the pan, it's still boiling hot. It's true. I don't think I would have learned most of the things I have learned until my mom died. So yeah, sometimes it does take a long time to learn. Now we have celery. I like glass because I can see everything, you know? Metal is pretty opaque. Well, I hope some of you enjoyed that rant. This is the way I eat most of my dinners. I love this. So onions, carrots, ssamjang, a little bit of gochujang, a little bit of thyme, white pepper, salt. What else? I don't remember, but it's good. Mmm. The mushy. Hi Amy, welcome. I need some water. This live took way longer than I thought I'd need. Well, my starch is cauliflower and celery tonight, it seems. I have no problem with that. It's actually very delicious on this cauliflower. There's a lot of experiments where I was like, this is gross. Did I eat it? 95% of the time. Chicken fried steak sounds delicious. How many of you are grossed out right now by how I'm eating? Do I worry about being alone? You want to define worry? I think I used to. I think I used to worry about being alone. I think watching my parents' marriage kind of deconstruct and the impact that it had on my mom and how she just died alone, stressed out of her mind, made me understand that, like, sometimes being alone is not the worst thing in the world. So no, I don't worry about being alone. But I do worry about people not understanding me, which I don't think is an issue, because I do have friends who understand me and who I can confide in, and I think that's enough proof that I'm not broken. But maybe for romantic relationships, I'm just a very suboptimal candidate, which I have to reckon with, you know? That's just something that I have to reckon with. Just like some of us can't be models, and some of us aren't math geniuses, and some of us will never win the Nobel Prize, not all of us are compatible to be partners to other people in a romantic setting. So I just have to recognize that. Old? Is there an age limit to how old you can be to become an astronaut? I do agree. So less thinking about controlling the other person's behavior in terms of liking sexy women's photos. Do I want a partner who goes around liking sexy women's photos? Or maybe this is just something that most men do and I have to be okay with it? I don't know. I think the biggest roadblock for me is I don't understand the psychology behind liking someone's photo when they have so many fans who are all liking their photos. Like, if you're liking my best friend's thirst trap, that's an issue. If you're liking a model with like 2.1 million followers photos, That's embarrassing for you in my brain because I don't understand why you feel the need to do that. What are the items that you're learning how to use that you thought were trash? I want to hear. I want to hear what you're using. June, what are your personal impressions or takes on different Manhattan neighborhoods? I like the Upper West Side. Hell's Kitchen is like weird. It's like very surreal to be in Hell's Kitchen. There's just so many different things going on, like old school stuff, rent controlled apartments, new bars, old Irish bars, Greek bakeries, like many kinds of Eurasian and Ethiopian, and just like so many different cuisines right next to hospitals, next to car dealerships. It's a weird place. I don't get it. I don't get Hell's Kitchen. Lower East Side, very fun, very hip, very NYU overrun. Lots of piercing and alternatives. East Village, a lot more homeless people, a lot more cutesy small restaurants. West Village, bougie. So fucking bougie. Old money, new money, bougie. Alright, let's try our little Thai curdled milk cauliflower oyster mushroom cauliflower concoction. Mmm. Both of these dishes are surprisingly good today. I think it's because I didn't blend the seasonings myself and I just used prepackaged shit. But that's why the condiments aisle exists for you guys. So you can make delicious things every night. Yum. Super nice, fall apart, but still holding their shape. Hell's Kitchen is a neighborhood in Manhattan. It's in like the 40s on the west side, west of Port Authority, like 8th Avenue and 9th Avenue and 10th Avenue, I think, all counts as Hell's Kitchen. I haven't seen beef. I guess I should, huh? Big success tonight. Let's take my meds. Vitamins first. Yeah, my friend Samira also told me I would like beef. So you also have to keep in mind that a lot of these prepackaged condiment mixes have things you would never put in there if you were making this shit yourself. There's a lot of like processed ingredients and textural thickeners that you probably wouldn't even think to buy. So they've engineered these things for you for ease and deliciousness. Is it the most healthy version? No. But do we care? I don't. Alright, I don't know what the white one is. I think it's an antibiotic. It's really fucking bitter. guys liked my rants. And if you didn't, tough. Sucks to your asthma. Did anyone get that reference? That was my favorite line from a book for so many years. Sucks to your asthma. It's from Lord of the Flies. Nothing like a good internet comment to scare me away from everything, but appreciate your advice. I hope it doesn't happen to me, but I can make no guarantees. I know antibiotics are not good, but I unfortunately have to take them. That's just what we're working with here. What does antibiotics do to alcohol in your system? Thank you for tuning in. Thanks to my dishwasher, I have not bought a new bottle of dish soap since when I moved in. It's been half a year. Now I'm down to the last tablespoon of it. Refrigerated probiotics. Yeah, Erin told me to up my probiotics too. So I've been eating a lot of yogurt. I've been trying to incorporate some miso into my diet. Basically anything fermented is good for you. Yeah, I've definitely added water to stretch out the soap too, but I think half a year is a pretty good run for one bottle of dish soap, no? No, I don't want to make yogurt. It's too complicated. And I like strained yogurt anyway, so. Not worth the time and effort to make my own strained yogurt. I don't really like runny yogurt. I think it would be nice if I used it for like a mango lassi or like drinkable yogurt, but Well, that only took 2 hours. But I think we made enough food to last like 3 days. And we processed our celery, and we made sure the mushrooms won't go bad before I get to use them. So I would say all in all, good job, June. You had a dietitian who was very against yogurt? Why? Good night. Forgot I took out my lentil mush. Let's eat some of that too. It's really best to make yogurt with an appliance because you should be able to control the temperature. So you can either make it in a sous vide immersion temperature control, or you can make it in an Instant Pot. I really don't recommend you keeping, like, how would you otherwise control the temperature? Yeah, I've heard kefir is awesome too. I might buy some. I'm glad you commented too. Thank you for sharing with us, and best of luck becoming your own best friend. I think after this I have to go do more work. Whoops. Making natto, eh? Alright, y'all. My battery just dipped below 10%, so I'm gonna go. Have a great night. Have a great Friday. Yay. Have a great weekend if I don't see you. Happy Mother's Day. And get some sleep, will ya?